How to fix relationship problems. That's the topic we're going to tackle in this video. Hi, my name's Carl, and if you have not downloaded the Marriage Rescue Handbook, do that at hopeformymarriage.com. So, how do we fix relationship problems? Well, the first thing you have to do is admit that there's a problem, and it really requires that one or both of you come to that conclusion and come to that agreement that there is a problem in the relationship. Until we get to that point, there's not much you can do about it. What often happens with couples is that relationship problem becomes the 900-pound gorilla that sits in the corner of the room all the time. But when we become truthful about that, when we begin to acknowledge that there is a problem in the relationship, that's the first step in making a difference in that relationship. So once you've admitted there's a problem in the relationship, the second piece is to identify what the real problem is. Now, often what we want to do is point the finger at the other spouse and say, "You're the problem." But the reality is it takes two to create that issue. And granted, one person may own more of that than the other, but we have to examine how are we responding to whatever it is that our partner is bringing into that relationship as well. So once we've identified what the issue is, the next thing we want to do is we want to begin to take practical steps to address that issue. Now, depending on how severe that issue is, you may need to bring in an objective third party to help you navigate that. You may need to bring in a marriage counselor, a therapist, a pastor, somebody objective, somebody who is trained to walk you through the things that you are dealing with. What I often find with couples that I counsel is that they know the problem's there, they know the symptoms of the problem, but they haven't necessarily identified the root of the problem. And that's a lot of what I end up doing, is helping them figure out the root. Oftentimes the root is things like communication, personal habits, family dynamics. Could be, things that have come into the marriage, things like an affair, pornography, workaholic tendencies, narcissism. There's lots of things that can be a part of that. But what we really want to do is deal with those root issues. What are the things that are creating the symptoms that are so troubling within that relationship? And then finally, you've got to be at a place where you're willing to not only give feedback, but receive feedback, and more importantly, take action on the feedback given. It's not enough to have knowledge of what's going on. It's what are you willing to do to change the outcomes, to change the day-to-day patterns that you find yourself in, so that your relationship takes on a whole new dynamic. So anyway, just a few thoughts for you. Be sure and download the handbook, hopeformymarriage.com, and I look forward to talking with you soon.